This is Mark Mulcaster from Fantha Tracks, and you are listening to the Rebel Bass Card Podcast. She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts.
I like firsts. Good or bad, they're always memorable.
Everything's gonna be all right, kid.
You found the Rebel Bass Card Podcast.
She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, kid.
I'm your host, Greg McLaughlin.
Have I made a few bad decisions? Sure.
We talk about cards, collecting Star Wars, and to people in the Star Wars community.
Don't worry, we're gonna meet up with some friends of mine.
Look for special episodes called The Breakfast Pack, talking about your favorite Star Wars shows.
We will never have a better chance than this.
All right, let's get started.
Well, perhaps it is time to begin again.
Welcome back, or if this is your first episode, welcome aboard. My name is Greg McLaughlin, and this is the Rebel Bass Card Podcast. And I don't know if you checked out the podcast art before you hit play, but this one's going to be a little different, folks. But it does fall in the genre of what my whole bag is about. It's about cards, collecting, and community. And tonight we are talking about the Panini World Cup sticker book. And then I'm going to check my stats later to see how many people stayed after I just finished that sentence. But what I have noticed over the past couple of weeks is that the World Cup I think it fulfills its promise. It does take over and dominate your TV. It has taken over a lot of sports talk shows and things like that. But I've noticed that everybody, even in my own family, has a passing interest in this. And the more I talk to people at work and friend groups, especially people we've gotten to know overseas and so forth, everybody's got a little skin in this game. And I think when you are talking about things that we all experience together in a sea of fragmented media and all that, there's something special to it. Now, we could probably go into length about the worldwide organization of whatever known as FIFA. But what I would say, once the feet start moving and the balls start getting kicked in anger, it just kind of takes on a life of its own, and it's been very fun. And once again, I have tried to start a sticker book. My son in 2010 was a huge sticker book. He was so into it. He was a young kid and still has his tattered thing, and we went to try to find stickers and so forth. And so this year we kind of started the same thing. And so there was two things that a little bit of celebration going on in the background. I wonder who is playing tonight in tonight's game. But in just trying to enjoy the experience of it, to see how it's taken over different promos, everything from the ads that you see on TV to the merch that you're finding everywhere, and just to the experience, I thought it might be a good idea to talk about it tonight. And I couldn't think of a better pop culture guest than my friend George Hanna from Meanwhile at the Podcast. He's going to come on. We're going to talk about our collective energies into collecting the stickers and the associated merch. He was nice enough to gift me a book. There's going to be a lot more we're going to talk about. We'll be right back right after this.
This is Ian Taylor from That Card Collectors Podcast. You're listening to the Rebel Bass Card Podcast. She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, kid.
We're in attack position now, sir.
Hold here.
We're not going to attack.
I have my orders from the Emperor himself. He has something special planned for them. We only need to keep him from escaping.
All right. We are back. Well, now I would say that this year's FIFA sticker book comes courtesy of one George Hanna from Meanwhile at the Podcast, but I would say it takes precious little to get me going on something. George, first off, before we kind of dive into it, I want to say welcome to the show. How you been? And are you enjoying the World Cup so far?
I am. I think the mics were hot when you mentioned that there was a commotion on the screen, probably behind in front of you, and you thought maybe somebody had a team had scored. You might have been watching the Croatia-Panama match, and I think it was when Croatia scored.
I think that was at least what my neighbors were doing. Now we have the White Sox game going because the White Sox and the Guardians are playing. My mom is a big White Sox fan. Later on when my son gets home, because the World Cup is playing all day, every day, for this month or so. But yeah, it'll
here.
turn back into World Cup. But you know, I didn't start off like I'm not a big soccer fan or football fan. Are you though?
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not going to say that I'm the person who follows the Premier League or even MLS here in America. Although I do have a team. My team is DC United.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know all the players' names. I couldn't tell you all the stats. But then again, I couldn't tell you that for baseball, football, basketball, hockey. I couldn't do that for you anyway, for any other sport. So when it comes to how much I get into the sport of soccer, I will have to say it's probably third tier when it comes to sports. And even my top tier, don't ask me all the team members on the Mets, which is my favorite team. I couldn't tell you everybody on the team, but that's just because I'm not there looking at the sports section every day. And by my saying sports section, everybody knows how old I am now.
Well, I would say I don't, I think over the years we have seen more soccer shown on TV. Now, I know Apple had a big contract with MLS, but I also know that even on some of the, over the air, I think the Premier League, I think is on NBC, or it shows up every now and then on Sundays, because I know we're in the off season for the Premier League. And the more people that I've met who are in the UK, who have, affiliations, I know a friend of mine even here is a big Manchester United fan, and some other folks there. I think so much so that just to annoy them, I think one of my trips to London, we were not that far from Chelsea Stadium, and I picked up some Chelsea merch just because I knew it would set them. So if you do not like Chelsea, please don't at me. It was all in jest. But what I would say is I remember when the 2010 World Cup came on. I wasn't in the States for '94, so I don't remember it being in the United States. But I do remember how into it my son was, and I think it's because all his friends they were into it, and I think the sticker book started showing up in a like a little bodega we have across the street, and then it became an obsession to fill this thing out, much like Skylanders and a lot of other things that happened during those years. But what I would say, from that moment forward, whenever at least the book came out, I know there haven't been that many World Cups, it's every 4 years, but it's kind of fun because I see that and it kind of reminds me of him trying to put together that book, and he still has it somewhere. I mean, the kid's about 25, and he still has this ratty 2010 book. But it's when you start off, and especially in the era that we are in now, especially with trading cards and, card collecting, it's boomed since the pandemic, and it's hard to find product. I mean, you do see some out there, and don't get me started on Pokemon, because that's a whole other facet. But, when I saw this out there, and you kind of sent me one, I'm like, well, it's a race against the clock to get some of this stuff before they start, because they were on a lot of shelves, and then they kind of aren't now. But once I started kind of putting the stickers in of what I got and what you sent me and other things that I've gotten, it kind of comes back because putting these stickers in is not a fast effort. You sit down and you got to get that peel off. It's very much like a card sort. One of the most relaxing things I know to do is to kind of sort cards out and put them in there. But I would say, even us not being super fans, you start to see this, the everything from when the Mando and Grogu came out, with the Burger King meals and the food tie-ins, Toy Story 5 has got cards in cereal. The FIFA World Cup is at McDonald's. Now we've got Supergirl tie into KFC, and that's where I kind of draw the line. Not because I don't like KFCs. I'm like, man, I a pair of pants has told me it's time enough. But what do you think? I mean, do you get into some of this tie-in stuff when these events come on, whether it's a movie or these kind of things? How do you feel about that tie-in? Because you guys talk about a lot of this in the Meanwhile It's a Podcast.
I used to. And the reason I don't now is not because I have matured in any way, shape, or form, but it is because of lack of space. And also, I will admit that teleworking, a lot of people are pro or anti teleworking.
Right.
I am a teleworker. And one of the things about teleworking is you don't have a publicly viewed desk. The last time I had a publicly viewed desk in my overhead cabinet, where I should have had, back in the old days, people probably would have had manuals, binders with policies and procedures up there. That was all exclusively action figures, sketch cards, artwork from friends of mine. You name it, I had it up there. Little posters on the side, on the partition. I don't do that anymore, but that would have been the perfect receptacle for, like you were talking about, the Mandalorian and Grogu meal, kids meal toy.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the perfect place for me to put those. I don't have a place like that anymore, and they would just go in a drawer. So it would be a waste. So I do not. Although you, just like you're blaming me for sending you the World Cup, the 2026 World Cup sticker album, when you had told me that you had gone to Burger King and they had those meals. Well, I couldn't race. I was a cartoon character with smoke behind me, racing over there because I had to get one. And in the end, did I really need it? No, but I had to take the picture of me to put it on our social media page for the podcast with me with the crown on.
And some of that is, like when we were kids, like, when my mom would take me to McDonald's or Burger King or Burger Chef, if you remember, if you had those back then. But these things were everything, like these little tie-ins because,
and they were made very well too back then.
Yes.
I mean, when I look at how they're made now, I hate to throw the old man card in there, but they definitely were made a little differently back when it was more appropriate for me to get a Happy Meal.
Yeah, when it didn't raise an eyebrow. But I think I remember one of the first kids meals. I do remember the Star Wars. I remember the. I don't know whether I had the glass for the first one, but I do remember the cards for the Empire Strikes Back from Burger King. I did have, I think, a Return of the Jedi glass at one point. I also remember when Star Trek the Motion Picture had, I think, a Happy Meal, because I remember getting that, and I was super stoked to get one of those things. But yeah, I think it was just one of those things where just because when the movie was out and it was creating a buzz with your friends in school like that, there wasn't much else you could do to celebrate, or you could go other than outside of like some of the toys, novelization, things like that. So some of this it was kind of fun. And especially when I had kids and you take them, you want to, like, whether it was a Pokemon tie-in with McDonald's, and they've done that many, many times. It was just a very easy way. It's like you go out, you take your kids, and everybody gets a Happy Meal, and you kind of get the toys, and everybody's kind of looking in it. And there's an opening because it's usually in plastic or something like that. So there's this sort of great shared experience. And I do think that is something where, although, I think one of the things that's probably hurt movies a lot has been, COVID and post-COVID and getting people back in the theaters. And to see this kind of merch, even though it's not necessarily cheap, it's fun to see it. It's fun to see these kind of tie-ins, whether it's a food product or whether it's, it's an ancillary media product or something like that. So, just to a collector, you go like, that is kind of interesting because, you sent me also this World Cup. So it's a plastic shoe meant to look like a cleat. And then there's, I guess you open it, there's a little thing there and you open it. And I think there's a poster or a figure or something in there.
Yes.
And,
it's a blind cleat, for lack of a better term.
It's a blind cleat instead of a blind box. But these are just kind of fun. And, are they meant to last forever? No. But everything from, the Harry Potter cookies that were out for no good reason. I think it was 25th anniversary of Harry Potter or something. The butterbeer did not sound like a very tasty cookie, but I have to admit, and I will say this, it was a butterscotch, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. There's going to be a BTS Oreo coming out soon, and you're like, but some of these things are just kind of fun because even if you don't have kids, it's kind of fun because it's this group experience. And now I think, especially not knowing a lot of the players and so forth, you dive into this book and, there are 48 teams in the World Cup. Each team has 20 stickers. There's 2 pages per country. You'll have their flag will be a sticker. They have a group shot, and then there's about 18 players. And the cool thing, I think, and Panini's been doing this since about 1970. They'll have the group that they're in, and then you even have a place where you can put down the scores of the games themselves.
Have you been doing that? Because I have.
I haven't, and I'm like, shoot, I should be, because I mean, it's all online, so it's kind of like. But I think if you had younger kids, I would definitely do it.
Oh, yeah.
I think what's more interesting about this book is the Coca-Cola tie-in. Well, good and bad. So one of the things that Coke did was there are 12 in the back page, the very back page. The Coke bottles, the plastic bottles, have a sticker on the inside of the label that peels off. If you've gone past your store lately and it looks like the Coke's a little roughed up, that's why. Because if it has the Panini sticker label on it, I think it's just Coke and Coke Zero at this point. You can peel that off. You can even peel off someone did, peel off the sticker, put the label back on, and you haven't really stole anything. I haven't done it, but I remember the first weekend it was out, the Walmart, several shelves in the Walmart were trashed, and you could see there was a bottle in one of the clothing racks where it was just the label was gone off of it, and you're like, they just ripped it and take it off. But as it goes along, the Coke is, because this is 980 stickers, this is a part of it. So every team has their stickers. There is a set of stickers at the very beginning for the FIFA logo and stuff, and then there are there's a couple of pages that have historical, like, oh, here's the Argentina team from so and so, here's the Brazil team. So there's a few of those, but it makes up 980 stickers. And when you go, you know what, I may not see them in stores, but the Coke ones may be the Coke pages may be the easiest and most easiest chase for Joe Blow, you and I to kind of do. I don't know about you, but George, but I have choked down about as more Coke Zero than I care to admit. Have you even started on that part of this journey yet?
I have, in fact, over here, not like anybody can see it, but I do have my sticker album. Yes, folks, I'm a 90-year-old man, and I have a sticker album. I have 3 so far. 3?
All right.
Yeah, 3 so far, and I have a bottle of Coke in the fridge just waiting to be open and peeled. And I don't know if anybody heard all that paper rustling. That was the sticker album.
No. I do think it's one of them, like I said, once you kind of and we'll talk about where I think it's more likely you can get stickers at, but I would say that the Coke one I think is the easier one to kind of maintain because A, there's a lot of Coke out there. B, even if you go to a Walgreens or a grocery store, there are many different places where these things can be, and they're going to be on the shelves probably for the next several weeks. And I don't think that those same fine folks that the scalpers that find those Pokemon boxes and those sports cards, they know when the employees restock this stuff. Even the most diehards, there's still going to be a lot of this product with stickers that you can get. And I think one of the things I've noticed, especially in the hobbies that I follow, is that it's very hard to get product if you're a casual person. We're casual soccer fans. The World Cup has been fun to watch, and I think it gets more interesting as the days go on. We get out of group play. But then it becomes like, okay, the easy stuff for these stickers, and I don't know where you may have found yours. We'll talk about that here in a second. But now you start getting into, okay, either I'm going to wait for a restock, or I'm going to have to figure out where some of these stickers are and how can I do it in the word I'm looking for, easy. Where did you initially find these the albums and the stickers at?
At a local CVS. They had a cardboard display. I don't know if that's where you found yours. Mm-hmm. And they had about 3 of them on the counter. Now, I think this is going on around the country, but my CVS has their setup where they have their original cash registers from back in the day, but they hardly use them or man them because now they have 2 or 3 self-checkouts. So instead of using those areas where you used to queue up and go to a person to check you out, they had these counter cardboard displays that I guess were set up to maybe hold a dozen or so of the albums, and then there was a little cardboard thing at the bottom that I guess came out diagonally at a 45-degree angle where they'd shovel the sticker packets. It wasn't until later, as the World Cup has gone on, and I've gone to CVS plenty of times. And folks, I'm an old man, so I needed medicine. It really wasn't just to get stickers. Anyway, I realized that they were getting those sticker packages out of boxes. And I think your traditional trading card collector may be the type of person to buy the whole box. Whereas what they were doing in CVS is they would open the box and empty the packages into the cardboard display. And it wasn't until I was paying attention that I realized that there are a lot of those boxes behind the counter. So for some reason, my local CVS stocked up. Which I find, and I wanted to go back to your son's experience back in 2010 real quick. That was, I'm not looking at the album, so I'm trying to go by memory. I believe that would have been South Africa was hosting in 2010. I'm not sure. But anyway, obviously it wasn't this country. While I've heard of these sticker albums before, I've never seen them in the wild. And I always kind of wrote that off as, America, the United States of America were really not into this sport. So there wasn't an investment in local shops, at least by me, to carry this product. And you're saying it was almost like a bodega type place?
Yeah.
Where your son found the album and the stickers back then?
Yeah,
he was the right age.
Exactly. So he would have been, less than 10. And, it's just one of those where everybody, like a lot of folks at his school, everybody's into soccer. And it's just something that, stickers, kids, this is a natural. Panini knows this. But, yeah, and the stickers are small and they go in and it starts to kind of get you accustomed to the players. You start to go, because there's, you even go back to 2010, I think, was it Ronaldo is still his sixth World Cup, and Messi, of course, he's been in a number of them. But yeah, it's just sort of like baseball cards. It's like, but you put it in an album and you carry around the album. And I think it's nice because it's like everything is self-contained within this. You don't have like these binders, kids not, and these things are, the album is thin enough. It can go in a backpack. It can go around with you. It went around a lot with him. It's amazing that his book is still in one piece. But yeah, I think it's a great vehicle for, like I said, it's very portable. It can go in a briefcase. It can go in your backpack. You can take it with you, and it's kind of fun. The trick has always been like, I've seen those boxes are pretty commonplace where it's like, it's about the size of like a double thing of breakfast cereal, and you have the albums at the top, and at the bottom it kind of little thing comes out, and there's stickers usually there. And usually what you see, and especially for other Panini products, like whether it be NFL, NHL, all this kind of stuff, was like you would just see a box that has no stickers and only albums. You're going, well, that's not very fun at all.
Right, no, not at all.
But
here, I'll tell you something else about how I guess we in this country approach this, and maybe you have to be in a particular town. Like from what I understand, Kansas City is a huge soccer city, Seattle, a huge soccer city, at least based on what I've been hearing the commentators say as they go around the country for the tournament. In speaking with you, especially because of your trading card background, one of the things besides the sticker album that I was interested in was perhaps a trading card set of maybe the road to the World Cup, kind of like the Olympic cards that I had bought for the Winter and the Summer Olympics recently.
Right.
Obviously, those cards were prepared before the competition took place, so it's kind of like the road to the event. Although it might be nice to get a post set of cards for a tournament or a competition like the Olympics or the World Cup. I don't think they do that. But anyway, I do have a card store near me. And I went in there, and they're split up. Half the store, very small square footage. Half the store is set up for sports cards. The other half is set up for things like Pokemon and Magic and things of that nature. No real Star Wars, unfortunately, or any other merchandising or licensing. It just seems pretty much on your left is the sports, on your right is the gaming card type things. And my natural question was, do you have any World Cup cards or even just soccer cards, MLS? But it really was all baseball and football. A little bit of basketball, and I didn't see hockey. And of course, at the time, we were in the playoffs for the NBA and the NHL, which I found very odd that there were no hockey cards at the time, in that store at the time. So I was thinking to myself, this just goes to prove to me that we, at least in this area of the country, we don't care enough for that store to have carried the cards, because based on what I see in the album, there were cards. There was a set of cards, Road to the World Cup. Meanwhile, when I asked they're supposed to be the people in the know, especially on the sports side, and they had no idea what I was talking about. They knew the World Cup was coming, and they knew we were hosting, or were among the hosts, but no idea that there had been a set that they could have stocked.
Well, and I would be something that I would kind of be looking on the lookout for it. But I guess, when I see the amount of weight that they put behind this, right? And, like for me, the World Cup sticker book and the stickers are usually like either a point of sale display, like one of the little box displays.
Right.
You might be lucky and find, like if you go to your Target and Walmart, where they might have like the individual packs, but usually it's pretty rare. Usually, like, I know that Walgreens and as well as CVS very heavily they had a lot of World Cup merch.
And would you have thought of that, though, in your experience? I mean, was that a shock to you? It was a shock to me. When I saw it there, I said, oh, my goodness, of all places, a CVS?
Well, I do think just the way it's packaged, right? When you get those little point of sale boxes with the stickers, it's a self-contained unit. You put it on the register, and it's kind of when you're kind of done, it's done. So I can see that. I've seen that kind of stuff there before, because I know that actually Walgreens had when the Fortnite cards of all things came out. I remember seeing the little displays there. It's about the same, and I don't know if I've seen them for every Panini. Maybe Marvel's 75th or something like 85th. I forget what it was. Where they, Panini would do other sticker books and things like that. GameStop would be another one that come to mind where you'd see this. Now, GameStop has gotten more, and they've been doing more with cards and less with other GameStop locations, because they've dwindled in our area to just a handful. But yeah, you'd see these in sort of odd places, but I think the way they package them, it's something where, just like, when you see the candy at the register, something that catches the kid's eye, like, hey, Mom, I want one of those. And so, any of these places, Target and whatnot, they would have the area that doesn't take up a lot of shelf space, but you're expecting parents with kids. And I think, although this is, I think geared largely towards kids, there's definitely points where you're talking about like boxes of these stickers that you can get off Panini or Amazon or whatnot that, kids ain't buying the 50 count box for $100.
No.
They
and
may
these
not
things
be
are properly priced for what you're getting.
Right.
I mean, you're getting 7 stickers for $1.99. At least that's what I'm getting here. Now, I think I told you that some of the stuff I sent you, I actually got from a rest stop in Jersey. I went to New York, was driving on the Jersey Turnpike. The tournament was on. Went to a rest stop. I was in there anyway to get food, but I said, hey, look, people are going to be coming to Jersey for some of the matches. These rest stops have got to have something. And sure enough, they did. I don't know where I was going with this. Oh, and that's where I got your cleat, your blind cleat. Although, if you notice, the blind cleat isn't really packaged for the World Cup. But I think whoever made this released it knowing collectors like us are going to be looking for stuff.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to get this thing out of the... Does the cleat come in two, or is it the...
Yes, here, I'll show you. And in fact, the reason I brought the rest stop up was those stickers, because they know they got you at the rest stop. They were $3.99 a pack. But when you think about it, like you were saying, point of sale, you're at a CVS with Mom. Maybe you're not feeling well. Mom's picking up your medicine. It's a lot easier to say, hey, Mom, can I get a package of stickers for $2 than to buy a pack of, what's the Disney thing, Lorcana or something like that? How much are those a pack? It's
well, the Lorcana is trading card game like Pokemon. So, yeah, it's probably, $5-6
And I don't know what package of, what even comes in a baseball card set these days? Do you get 20 cards? I don't even know how much that costs.
Well, I think a lot of places, even like Five Below, which will sell, oftentimes will sell your retail ones. And yeah, you could get, 10, 15 cards a pack. What did I get? Ooh, I got, actually I got a U.S. player. I got the
oh, fantastic. And mine was
Robinson.
Canadian. Oh, very nice.
Nice.
There you go.
5.
And then you see what I mean? That they're a little articulated. Even his foot will move.
Son of a gun. Yeah, shoot.
Yeah. I thought I broke it
better...
when the foot moved. I realized
well, now I got to look at my
just
book
PVC
and see
figures.
where the U.S. is. Who is that? Page 32 of my book. See, it's not just a sticker book; it's a reference book. So
what I like is when I recognize somebody and say, "Ooh, I just put that player in my sticker book last night." Some random
Anthony
person
Robinson.
from Ghana.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, that's neat. He does have. I don't have his sticker yet. Well, that's cool. And then, oh yeah, there also is in here. There's a mini poster. How much was the boot, by the way? How much was the?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know. Let's say between $8 and $10.
Oh, that's cool.
Something like that. Yeah.
And then, how much you want to bet? I think. I was trying to see if he had. Yeah, so Anthony Robinson has one of the Coke stickers as well.
Oh, okay.
So in the back of the.
What number is he?
He is his.
No, I mean in the Coke stickers. What number is he?
Let's see. C 1, 2, 3, 5. CC CC 5 is Anthony Robinson. Well, that's neat. Thank you. That was fun.
Oh.
A nice and here's the nice thing. It's like you have. It's almost like one of the radio stations has like now for a World Soccer Championship update. I'm like, that doesn't mention FIFA. That's how we have to say FIFA World Cup because we can't say World. It's kind of like the Super Bowl, big game, right? But it's kind of a neat thing. Yeah, you're right. This doesn't really have World Cup on it, but it does say like, oh, Team USA.
Yeah.
So we don't run afoul of.
And I'm looking. I don't think Anthony is one of the people who've scored a goal yet. But there's always the third game before the knockout round. So when we play Turkey, I don't know when this is coming out, so we don't know what happens with Turkey. I mean, we know we're making it to the knockout round, but
no, that is pretty neat. But yeah, so the thing that I think that makes this a nice casual chase is that if you can find them in the wild individually, $2 a pack.
Kids can get it. It's very easy, even if they don't have the sticker album. Although if they're there, hopefully the sticker album is there and they can buy it.
Yeah, because I was even at a Jewel Osco, a supermarket, and they had kind of in a rack, like kind of one of those things where you could get them off hooks. They had a prepackaged bag with an album and a 5-pack of stickers, which I think is pretty common.
So cool.
I would assume it's probably like $10, $15 somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Because you figure 2, 4, 6, 8. So. That's something that's kind of nice. And like I said, once you're going to get through this first, it does take you a while to get those stickers in there. But
because
Amazon,
you have to be careful to peel them off. They're really nice. I mean, the way they're set up, they are nice.
They are nice. And they peel off pretty decently. But Amazon had these packs of 5 for 10. They had packs of 10 for 20. And then you could go up like, there was these really nice, I know I've seen a couple, Walgreens did have a couple of the sticker collection, the tin starter kit, right, where it was kind of like looked like a thing of the old puffed wheat, and then it probably had the album in it, and then had X number of stickers in it, and then you could get at different price points, even through Amazon, or you go through Panini, where you could go. It's interesting. They're actually doing pre-sales for the sticker, the update set, probably players that have come in, or whatnot. That was $35. There was a box, 25-pack box for $50. But there was different levels, and I think what's interesting is the different packaging. And I think if you're listening to this and you're going out there, there are different ways they're packaging this. And I think that makes it accessible. And I think the takeaway here is it's not necessarily a place you might be expecting this to be. Right. One, because when they, like for the retail stuff, it's very easy for someone. They don't really have to break out a whole shelf, although for some reason Walgreens had a ton of World Cup merch, very generic, officially licensed merch. But, you know, if you just want to celebrate the fact that it's FIFA, yay. But, you know,
I got a couple of lapel pins. I love lapel pins.
I saw those lapel pins they had there. So, yeah, I think the nice thing about this is that it's a casual chase that still can be had. I would be curious over the next month, because I think we're just, you know, like, we still have many weeks of this left. We've went through the initial round. Will these places, the common places that you and I would normally show up at, whether we need some eggs, need some, need to get a bottle of shampoo from Walgreens or whatnot, we're out and doing some errands. Hey, let's stop in here. Oh, they have. I think that's what makes it fun, because unlike, say, with a lot of the trading cards, at least with Star Wars, where you have to go to certain places and you have to, and there's a huge layout of expense for it. Even if you're just following like baseball, a casual baseball card collector, you can still get some of those, or some of the retail stuff you can still find at your Targets and Walmarts. But here's something that is more accessible than some things. There is a chase to it, and I think although 980 stickers is daunting.
Well, let me tell you this, Greg.
Yeah.
I think I've put about maybe 15 or 20 packs worth in the album so far. And if you were a little curious about what how thick 3 dozen packs are.
Whoa.
I have these left to put in because I've been very sick and I keep going to CVS for cough medicine and ointment. So,
I want to go to your CVS.
One here, one there. Mm-hmm.
Well, and
I'd like to tell you a little story about CVS real quick.
Yeah.
I told this on our show. I don't expect anybody listening to this to listen to my show, so I'm going to tell it here. I was in CVS, did not buy any stickers. I was picking up a prescription for my wife. And as I was leaving the store, I was being very good. Willpower every once in a while will kick in. A woman walks up to the counter. She's got 2 kids with her, and she asks the person at the counter, "Do you have any more World Cup stickers?" And my ears perked up. And as I'm leaving, I start walking slower because I want to hear the conversation. And the guy says, "Oh yeah, we have some." And then, almost like conspiratorially, her voice changes, drops down an octave, and she goes, "Is there a limit?" Because I guess maybe with Pokemon, maybe her kids are into Pokemon or other things where there could be a limit. But I did take a glance, and the kids looked pretty excited. And that's what it's all about. I think they were a little younger than your son was when he got his sticker album. But I mean, really, that's what it's all about, right? It's not about guys like you and I who are having fun, maybe even a little nostalgic about it. It's about these kids getting into it maybe for the first time. And, hopefully we're not contributing to some sort of OCD hoarding mentality for later in their life, but hopefully they're just having some fun, and they'll never fill the book, but they'll have fun trying to do it. And there's that adventure, kind of the adventure that's missing, like you were talking about cereal and other places where now these days, sometimes you can get a baseball card, sometimes you can get this. Back in the day, there was a plethora of that. Every kid's cereal, you got something in the box. It was exciting. Now there's nothing, and I actually even feel sorry for kids that they don't have that experience. But maybe kids today don't want it. But those 2 kids with their mom, they wanted stickers. And I found that very refreshing, fun, and I was happy for those kids because I knew they were going to get some stickers that day.
Well, and, although there are parallel stickers, right? Amazon has.
Oh, don't get me started on that. I wanted to bring that up. Don't get me started on that.
We'll get to that. Although there are,
Panini,
it's not a main
over here.
Yeah.
When we talk about this, I have a gripe with you people over.
Fair enough. But you want something that it's fun. It's tied in. It's an experience, because a lot of kids are like, they might be getting into training. So it's something that's very analog. It's something that's very physical. It's not something that's screen-based. And you follow it along, just like we did with and generations before with baseball cards, where it was mainly about you got them with bubble gum, you sat there and you traded them, you put in your spokes and all that. And yeah, we're a long way away from that experience of the simple card, and we're definitely into an area where, kids have seen, like there's a lot of younger collectors and they see the value and they go into it. This is something that, although it has gotten much bigger, the album is much thicker, because
it's a beautiful album too. They make it very well.
It's really, really nice. So I think it has an appeal. It's very affordable. Mm-hmm. And now it just becomes like, okay, once you get started, once you get past that initial wave, how do you get into it? But you want to make it easy. But it is something where we could be watching it, and like the soccer is a little different than watching some of the other sports, and it's a long stretches of back and forth and all this action, and you can kind of go in and like I said, it's very relaxing. It's something that's very easy. It's just that now that, okay, I'm on the lookout for it. Maybe I'm making an extra stop or two to try to see if someone has it. But if not, I go, Amazon wasn't running out of them. I said, okay, so I put in another $20 box, which is fine. I don't think I get it for another week, but I'm like, that's fine, because there's like 70 some stickers in that thing, even if it was just 10 packs. I'm like, that's going to take you a little while. And you go, you got to have that time. I think my son currently has his book and he's got a bunch of one. He just hasn't sat down and done it. But every time I'm like, oh, hey, you don't have this Coke label, I'm putting it in there. And I'm like, yeah, one point he'll probably just start going through and doing it. Which leads though into a question I'm going to have for you is, let's say we're on the other side of this, in this contest, and I've got a bunch of, like, one of the many common parallels you'll get is 1 out of every 2 packs has a blue parallel 1.
Yeah, don't talk to me about these different border colors.
But would you, like, when it's all said and done, like, I don't know if I'm doing anything with these blue parallel ones, and I go, you know what, I'm not going to sell them off. I don't think there's not really any value in them. Would I mix this album? Would I put the blue ones in my album just to fill up holes, because otherwise they're just loose stickers, and where the book I can stow away for down the road? As a collector, you start to go, they're not the same color, but at the end of the day, you go, yeah, you know what? Fills a hole. I've got that one. It just happens to be, it ain't messy. I'd put aside. But how do you feel about these parallels, and would you put them in your book?
First of all, I didn't even realize they were parallels. When I noticed, this one has a blue border, and every other one on this page, I wasn't even paying attention to. I may have had a blue border before and wasn't paying attention. But on a particular page, everything had white, and this one had a blue. And I said, this is special. I don't know, why did this person get the blue border? In fact, I looked them up online just to see, is this the team captain of, Cape Verde or wherever it was? And no, it's just a random player, a striker or whatever his role was. And then I asked you about it, and you informed me about the parallels. And I was thinking to myself, where on this packaging does it say anything about parallels? And of course, on the back, with my magnifying glass, which I have in my hand right now, I see 1 out of 2 packs blue parallels, 1 out of 26 red parallels, 1 out of 204 purple, 1 out of 1,529 are green, and the black parallels are numbered 1 of 1. And it does say, collect all 5 parallels of the non-foil stickers in the collection. I have already stuck at least 1 blue parallel in my book, not realizing it was a parallel. Eventually, I got a regular white border of that same player. And the OCD really kicks in situations like this, because, like you said, at least had I realized that there were parallels, I think what I would have done is I would have put them aside. I would have done exactly as you just described, put all my normal white borders in there. And then after the tournament was over and after I was done, I would take stock. And then if, like you said, if there were gaps, I probably would have stuck them in. But now they're in there, and I'm a little mad at myself for putting them in there. I don't know why I should care, because, again, it's more about the player than the color of the border. Although I see how rare, what was it, the purple one and the black? Oh, no, the green and the black are very rare. So if I get any of those, I'm not sticking them. I did get a red.
Right. Ooh, nice.
Which now that I'm aware of it, I'm putting my blues and my reds and anything else on the side. But it's a sticker album. It's not a trading card thing.
Right.
The goal is to stick
Fill
the
the book.
stickers. Why are there parallels? That's the part I don't understand about this whole thing.
Well, as far as like why they would do it, I think in some cases it does create a collectible that creates like a secondary market for it, and it does give them, like just with any of the trading cards now, you have different parallels, and you have maybe even numbered ones where they create a scarcity. And so some people might be trying to fill their book with all the blue ones, or I know Amazon has an orange one. I have one of the Amazon orange ones. That's that little.
Okay,
guy
wait.
right there.
Okay, so I see it right now. You
It's
have a
not.
bag
This
of
is not
all-
red. It looks red, but it's orange.
Now that baggie has all the different borders, right?
Yeah.
Through-
What I
through-
did was
through-
I took my blue ones. I have my blue ones in here. I used a team bag, like a team bag.
Are you? Well, now I see. I wasn't going to ask you to take them out, but since you took them out, is there anything on the back that informs you that this is a parallel?
No, I don't see anything other than the
Okay,
fact that
so
the
one would have to
border-
be kind of in the know and have read the small print, the fine print.
right.
Maybe it's more prominently displayed on the box if you bought a box of these.
Yeah, I do.
But
think
I don't think your
that-
normal person is going to look on the back and all the fine print, where the print is the size of the ingredients, of your Coke bottle. No
on
one's
some
going
of
to
the
look at
bigger
this, even a
boxes,
kid.
Right. No. On
You
some of the
know.
boxes, they do say collect all 5 parallels. Oh my gosh! I don't like. Sorry, Johnny, you aren't going to college, but you are going to have the blue. You're going to have the different ones. But yeah, I'm sitting there as I'm. It's also one of those where you start to kind of make up the rules as you go. All right, well, after this is all said and done, and by the way, you can go to Panini itself, and I think they've been doing this forever, where you can go there and order some of the missing stickers. So you can go back there. I think you can do it up to 50. It's on the first page of the book. You can go to PaniniAmerica.net for U.S. and Canadian residents only. Shop, and then it says on sticker collections, move and click on missing stickers, then click on the appropriate country. You can order up to 50 stickers to complete your collection, U.S. funds only. And then,
Speaking of things that you could do with Panini on their website or scanning the QR code, are you going to create your own sticker?
I did download the Panini app because I knew that there was something that they were doing with that, and I just hadn't gotten around to doing it yet. Because you still have to, the one thing about this book is that it's done by country, and so you have to, like, each page, the teams are numbered, but you have to. It takes a little practice to fill the book, because the sticker is not numbered from like 1 to 980. It's by every country, and so you keep going back to the first page where you see that gorgeous hunk of a FIFA president. That guy is Infantino, but you have to go back there and find what country it is, and after a while you start to kind of know that. But yeah, I don't know what I would do other than like maybe list the parallels, the higher parallels. I don't think the other ones I would do anything with. And so what I would probably do to do the OCD, I know our time is starting to run a little thin, but what I would do is I might put the blue one down first, and then that would get me a clue later to go back. And if I was able to either go through Panini and get the white one, or we did, everybody, what we should do is do some horse trading when we're all said and done. Because I do have some of the dupes for the base,
Yep.
and then that way you could, because I would do that in the binders too, which I try not to do anymore. But back then for the Force Awakens, right, where I would kind of stick all the parallels in the same, and it makes the pages bigger. But I could tell what parallels I still needed or what I had. But it'd be a nice placeholder. So I would say maybe use your parallels or the lower parallels as a placeholder, because you can always put your other sticker on top. Like I said, I ain't grading this album. This album I'm not going to sell somebody an album that's half full of stickers. So it's just a question of what I have left, and in which case I would rather have these go into the album at some point. But
I agree. For collectors out there of the World Cup merchandise, one other thing that I did find that I'm sorry I didn't send you, because I didn't realize that there was a certain section in this book. At the rest stop in Jersey, they had a FIFA World Cup activity and coloring book. Ooh. So I just picked it up for the heck of it, and not realizing that in the center there were stickers, for kids. It's all for kids, but stickers.
That's pretty dope.
But then in addition to that, there are stickers of the posters for each city.
Oh, that's neat.
And I find, not like I'm taking them out of the book, but I find that pretty fun.
That's a nice little companion piece too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I mean, it's a good coloring book for a kid, but I just picked it up for the heck of it because it was there at the rest stop and I hadn't seen it before. And it was a big surprise to find the stickers on the inside. Not like I'm going to take them out or anything, but I mean, they're cool. I like all the different posters for all the different host cities.
Yeah, there's a nice page in the sticker album that does go over like all the mascots for all the different years and things like that. So it's a nice little time capsule. Yeah. But yeah, what I think in kind of closing, the thing that I just kind of like about it is, like I said, it's rare that we have these group experiences. As you were taking a drink, it's well done taking a drink from your McDonald's FIFA Cup. Which,
can we
by
talk
the way,
about McDonald's really quick? Again,
yes.
Not a sponsor.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Hashtag not a sponsor. I had to get my cup. I love the Hamburglar packaging it comes in, where the Hamburglar is stealing the World Cup. The first one I got was Pulisic, our team, the U.S. team captain. Mm-hmm. And then I was thinking to myself, well, that's all well and good, but let's see what else I can get. And then I got a Beckham. Then I thought to myself, you know what? I want to use my cup for the duration of the World Cup, if not for the summer or whatever.
Oh, I like that.
But those two were kind of the ones I wanted. So let me go back and see if I get another player. Nothing against the other players, but I don't know them very well, so I don't mind using that cup and saving the other cups. Well, the third cup I got was a Grimace. And I didn't want to use Grimace because of what he did for the Mets 2 seasons ago to help us, even though we didn't really, make it to the playoffs. But anyway, then when I went back for a fourth cup, I said, okay, well, whether it's a duplicate or another player, that's the one I'm going to use. And then I wound up getting a player from Mexico, and that's the cup that I am going to use. Santiago Jimenez. So I'm not very familiar with him, but there he is.
Nice.
Look at that. Look at that smile. Look at that smile.
I hope he's making
no one can see that, but you can see it, Greg.
Well, and I thought that was interesting is that the cups were, normally you'd think with a cup you would get it with the drink in there, but no, the cups come individually wrapped. So you can't see what it is, but it doesn't, if you don't want to open it or if you don't, not want to use it, it's clean. So that makes it nice. I think it's a little thicker plastic. So, hey, plastic, but it's a decent cup. And yeah, it's nothing says FIFA quite like the Hamburglar, but I'll leave that comment on where it came from.
The commercials are great where like David Beckham's like, please be me, please be me.
Please be me. And by the way, he has made it. Let's all hear it for David Beckham, who has made a lot of money because he is on every other commercial for the World Cup.
Isn't he?
Anyway, oh my goodness! But like I said, in closing, it's fun. It does kind of.
I feel like a kid. I mean, all the time I feel like a kid. But I mean, this is really adding to my World Cup experience. No, I don't think you're exaggerating either. It's all soccer all the time in this house, much to the chagrin of my wife. For the last 2 weeks, and it will be, now when we get to the knockout round, it won't be daily, but still, I think it's just been a fun 3 weeks.
Yeah, and it kind of scratches a collector's itch, and I think it'd be funner if they were more prevalent out there, where it's like you're on the way home, or you pick up some gas, you grab some things like that. There's a little more work there, but I do think that. Throughout, like maybe if I only find them at Amazon, it's not the end of the world. Right. And then just kind of see like, all right, how far can you get? And then I think we have to have a trading round before we blow our 50 sticker limit at Panini. Let's see what we can trade there. So yeah, it's just something fun. This is, like I said, a little different episode.
And I really wish the children in my life. I don't have too many children in my life, but they're all too cool for school. And it would be nice to experience this like you experienced it with your son when he was the right age for it. It would be nice to experience it here with some kid who was experiencing this for the first time, but no one wants anything to do with it. So it's got to be me.
All righty. Well, tell you what, I'm going to let you get back to Meanwhile at the podcast, but I wanted to say thank you for kind of coming on. It was fun to kind of talk World Cup with you, but where can people find Meanwhile at the podcast, and what are you guys going to be talking about?
We're on pretty much any podcatcher out there, so find us, please subscribe, and we're on social media on Blue Sky and the site formerly known as Twitter at Meanwhile ATP.
Makes it easy. Yeah, I'd heard you guys talk a little bit about this before, and so this is a nice companion piece to it. But I don't think it's the last time I'll be talking about the sticker book and so forth as this summer and this tournament goes on. So I just want to say thank you for coming on. This was a blast, and good luck on your sticker book.
Thank you, and same to you. This was a heck of a lot of fun, and I'm going to take a hydration break right now.
There we go. All right, it's time for me to take a hydration break, and we'll be right back right after this.
Hello, this is Dennis.
And this is Jay, and we're from Podcast Stardust.
You're listening to the Rebel Base Card Podcast.
Great pull, kid.
I'd like to check out, refuel my ship, prepare for my immediate departure.
Once again, I want to thank my guest, George, for being on the program from Meanwhile at the Podcast. I do recommend checking out their show. It's a fun show. A little bit of pop culture, some comics and all that, and just a good old time. It's been fun. I've been following them. They've been around about as long as I have. I know George has done a show before that, but lots of good podcast goodness there. All right. I'm going to let Card Squadron take it out. We'll talk to you soon.
The Rebel Base Card Podcast focuses on cards, collecting, and the Star Wars community, and appreciates you coming along for the ride.
If you have any feedback for this episode, you can reach out to the program in a number of ways. You can leave a comment on the Instagram post for this episode. You can also DM Greg on Instagram at Rebel Base Card.
Make sure to also follow the Rebel Base Card on Twitter and Facebook at Rebel Base Card. If you want, you can send an email to greg@rebelbasecard.com.
And you can find show notes for this and all episodes on the website rebelbasecard.com. In the Star Wars Card Trader app and just about every other one, you can find Greg at CornFedTech.
The Rebel Base Card uses the hashtag Card Squadron as a way to alert friends about cool cards and recent drops in the galaxy far, far away. It's a great way to bring our community a little bit closer together and help one another finish our sets in time. We collect, communicate, and commiserate. Well, at least when we run out of credits or crystals to spend on our digital collections. Join the fun, even if all the other cool squadron names were already taken. And remember, we collect as one and would be honored if you join us.
And if you are a sketch card artist, or Star Wars artist or collector, cosplayer, and want to talk about your work, your craft or passion, drop Greg a line. I'm sure he'd love to hear your story. You can also help the show by leaving a comment or review on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you got this episode.
Otherwise, the mission is clear. Keep those cards out of the hands of the Empire, and the Rebel Base Card will return soon.
This podcast is not affiliated in any way with Topps, Disney, or Star Wars, nor is it endorsed by Disney or Lucasfilm, and is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. All names and sounds and any other related items are properties of their respective trademarks and/or copyright holders here in the U.S. and abroad. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com.
That's it.